Hi, I'm Jenkins, and welcome to Reflections Week 10. Now, this week's going to be a little bit special because, it's week 10, got to do something cool, right? So, I want to tell you all that I did get around to my dopamine detox finally. I did it yesterday, and that meant I was allowed zero leisure screen time hours. I could work out, I could read, I could work on music production. Basically, everything I did during the day was productive, and I didn't waste any time really with anything. So I started out my day. I woke up in bed, and I'm like, I'm not leaving this bed until it's made. Got to start your day out with a win. That's really huge. After that, I made my way to the kitchen, and after having a breakfast, I'm like, I'm going to clean this place up. So I did that as well, and it turned out really nice. And then later on in the day, I kind of got a little bored, and I did get bored, but I just kept kind of sorting through things, organizing things in my room, and then I finally got around to production and playing a bunch of piano. So all in all, it was a really great day, and I'll elaborate more on it later. Next up, my job interview last week went well, apparently. I was invited to a second round interview this Wednesday, and that is for the exploration geologist position in Nevada. I would actually really like to move there, so I'm actually pretty excited about it. I've been saying it's either Nevada or Australia, so it's really a win win situation. Let's take a look at my spreadsheet. I've got something cool to show y'all. Yes, it was a very good week. I went to the gym 3 times. I got my production hours in. I practiced 3.5 hours of piano. Didn't practice every single day, to be honest, but I got the hours in. A little bit of remixing. I didn't, for the first time, I was under my screen time hours, just barely. I didn't quite get my charts done, but the market's been crashing recently, so there's no opportunities for long positions, so that's okay. And meditation, I missed Friday, unfortunately. But this week has been a huge success. I really like the dopamine detox day. That really helped me a lot get caught up on everything. And I can really feel confident and give myself a 9 out of 10 for this week. Just a couple things I missed, but on top of everything, I did go to the gym. I went to the boxing class 3 times instead of twice this week too to help make up for last week. And that brings me as my next topic I want to cover. Um, we had someone who made a comment on last week's video. Now I'm not going to say their name to protect their identity, but they were very adamant in saying I only deserved a 4. And I will be honest, I think last week kind of was kind of more towards the 5 territory, but as I said before, the weekly average ratings is not just an average of every category here. It takes everything in the week in consideration. But, I like those kind of comments, keep them coming because it fired me up. And, being that I missed both days boxing last week, I went 3 times instead of 2 times. So to kind of make up for that slack, to kind of help me earn that 6. But moving forward, I like those comments. I appreciate them. Next, I want to talk about the dopamine detox. It was awesome, honestly. I really liked it. I've been looking forward to doing it for a long time, but with football season and everything being a distraction on weekends, I just never found an opportunity to get it done. But I finally did it, and it made me realize, most notably, like how often I want to pull out my phone to like Google some random fact or you know check the time even. I mean, I was allowed to check the time on my phone, but just not being able to Google things really came up a lot. Like I've had like the urge to do it, and then I'm like, wait, no, I can't do that. And it kind of made me realize, like, I do a pretty good guess on my screen time hours, at the for each day, but I didn't realize how often I was pulling out my phone to just do dinky things on it. And I think that's something I definitely can and should cut back on. And then about dopamine too. It's really like it's not the pleasure chemical in your brain, it's more of your motivation and drive. So when you have a lot of activities in your life that generate dopamine at just arm's distance away, you could just at your fingertips, go through Instagram or Facebook or any of these other social media. They're really bad for it. It's just instant gratification across the board. You can just keep scrolling, keep getting that dopamine hit. But when you keep doing that, you desensitize yourself to dopamine, and to a point where only activities that are highly stimulating for dopamine are going to give you enough of a fix for you to feel it, for you uh, to make you feel normal. Because after a while, you become desensitized to it, and you're going to need more and more just to feel your baseline. Because after a while, your baseline not adrenaline, your baseline dopamine levels will keep depleting if you keep spiking it over and over again. Your body's like, man, we always have this much dopamine. You kind of got to raise your tolerance in a way. You can kind of look at it. So this is a way to kind of reset that system and make yourself more sensitive to the dopamine that you get from activities that are actually productive and adding value to your life. Like music production, as much as I enjoy it, it doesn't compete with video games when it comes to, getting that quick hit of dopamine. Video games will always take priority. And since in my body's memory, yeah, I remember that, video games and such are such an easy way of getting my dopamine fix. And I'll always be thinking about those as a priority. So doing this dopamine detox, it's not just a one day thing. It's kind of an ongoing thing that I just want to become more aware of and more conscious of, right? So I think things will get better as I kind of keep focusing on that. So, resolutions for this week. I can happily say that for the first time in this series, I don't really have too much to change from resulting from this week. But I want to be more conscious about when I'm pulling out my phone, uh, how often I'm pulling out my phone to just, you know, Google some stupid thing. It's not always stupid, but it's still more screen time. It's extra stimulation that I don't need to have in my life. And other than that, I want to keep it up. It was a good week this week, my best all year. So that's going to be my goal, is to keep the ball rolling on this one. Y'all have a good rest of your week. Take care. No compromise. Let's go.